Good morning, everyone. It is December the 17th, 2025. The next video I'm going to put up just came out last night while I was watching the news. And it's over a class action lawsuit that's being filed against the homeless population. This is in Montreal, Quebec, here in Canada. It's interesting. It's giving a lot of the sentiments that being in a ward or in a community where suddenly all the drugs and the drug addicts and everything has turned the community upside down, and it's expressing a lot of the sentiments in it as well, how I felt when this hit. Now, I know after the pandemic hit, they were running wild, as I said, in the streets because we were in lockdowns, and the police were trying to handle it because the emergency services were basically the only ones out on the street, and then the shelters would lock their doors during the day. They were not allowed in, and I think they even made, I don't know if the outreach programs some of them were still probably going, but then, you had the drop-in centers too. I don't know how they were working at that point, but it just became really lawless on the streets during the pandemic when, for example, wouldn't have much choice if I wanted money with the lockdowns. The bank was closed, but I'd have to go to the ATM machine, for an example. Or you have to go to the grocery store. You pick up money from the bank, go to the grocery store. You had no choice. But what I found was when the lockdowns were over, the poor police department was trying to do what the health department should have been doing, and to try and treat the overdoses. It was just, they were dropping like flies here on the streets, and as I put in my earlier videos, it was just, they were suffering burnout, our first responders. And it was just total chaos down here, and the police were doing overdoses when they should have been doing enforcement. Now, it's taken about 3 years now you're seeing the enforcement part coming up because of the drug busts and that. So the police have been more relieved because people are getting together, they're finding ways to supervise and try and deal with this situation with the health department. People are finally coming together and not realizing we've got to communicate with one another. We cannot do this on our own, all these services and that. We have to work together. So that's been another big thing that's been worked on for the last while as well. But there's still a lot more that can be done because it's still not good. It's much better in our case here in Ottawa, I can say that, but there's still a lot of work to be done when they're not supervised. It was, as I've spoken to about too, when they let all the people, because it was inhumane to keep people in mental institutions, that they just let everybody out, all the patients out on the streets with no support systems. But there needs to be a lot more support systems put in place. For example, when they're out on the street and that, yes, they have the outreach program, but there's so much, because I know people cannot be watched 24/7, but there's so much things that they're doing. Like, again, for just an example, they're coming in to our building now that it's cold again, and I've talked to you about this before, pulling the fire alarms. And the last 24 hours there, we had 2 fire alarms pulled in 1 hour, and then within 12 hours later, we had another fire alarm pulled. 2 at night and 1 in the daytime. And they're just coming in and just having a ball pulling the fire alarms for no reason at all. And the poor fire department, when it could be on a major call, is being called to a false alarm. So this is just like one of the things. Now, there's got to be some way, because we have cameras. Now, if these people can be identified, they need to be flagged, and the outreach services need to keep track of, example, people that are doing this, that are causing this chaos to us. And I'm just throwing out an example today of what I've been experiencing again, that's happening because of the cold. And during the summertime, they're all over the place because they don't have to come in. But when they come in to a building, whether it's to visit people or, in quite often the cases, they're coming into the dealer, they're thinking, ha ha ha, I'll just pull the fire alarm, big deal, walks out the door. And of course, the fire department shows up for no logical reason. I'm just, like I said, that's just an example of what I'm experiencing right now. Again, that's happening. So I think there's a lot more that can be done when people are in trouble and can be identified. That's just one way that they need extra support. how do we support those people that are causing that problem, so they're not only just police picking them up eventually if they are identified. It has to go further than that. They need more monitoring and more support. And that's just an example when they turn around and they throw a whole community upside down. So I'm going to let people watch the video. I don't know how far this lawsuit's going to go. They're presenting it next year and they'll get an answer from the courts. But as it goes through the courts, I'm very interested in watching this and seeing what's going to happen and how people are going to respond, how the courts are going to respond. But there's got to be a better way. And that's just one example that I gave you of just how far they come in and they cause trouble. And they don't need to cause this kind of trouble. So it's not only just lands on the police department to pick up these people who are causing trouble. They need the health support workers in here. And if they have to be taken off the streets, and they need to be put in maybe their own building where they have the proper supports, right there at the building where they need the support workers from the health department. So I'm going to put that up, everyone, and see what you think about it. Always welcome to have comments, although, as I said, I've been having some difficulties getting to the comments. Being a senior, I'm not very tech whiz here, but what I don't like about the technology is every 6 months or so they change it. I just get used to doing something. Finally, I figured it out, and they go and change it. And right now I'm having fun trying to find my comments. They seem to have disappeared on me. So everyone, take care. Have a great day. Watch your surroundings and be safe, and we'll talk again soon. And bye-bye.